Have you ever heard of the woman who fought an empire with cannons and a pen? This isn't some fantasy tale. It's the incredible true story of a forgotten queen. Her name was Rani Lakshmi Bai, and her enemies thought they could silence her, erase her kingdom, and write her out of history. But they made one crucial mistake. They underestimated her. Imagine being told your kingdom is no longer yours. Your adopted son has no right to the throne, and you, a queen, are to become a powerless widow living on a pension. This was the ultimatum the British East India Company gave to Lakshmi Bai, the young ruler of the Indian state of Jhansi. They saw a woman they could easily control, a leader they could simply dismiss. But Lakshmi Bai saw an injustice she could not ignore. When diplomacy failed and peaceful petitions were thrown out, she didn't just surrender. She prepared for war. The people of Jhansi rallied behind their queen. She wasn't just a figurehead. She was on the front lines, training her soldiers, inspecting defences, and even forming a women's unit. When the British finally laid siege to her fortress, they expected a quick victory. What they got was a fight that would become legendary. For weeks, the small state of Jhansi held out against the might of the British army. Lakshmi Bai was everywhere, a blur of motion on the battlefield. Sword in hand, leading charges, and inspiring her troops from the fortress walls. Eyewitness accounts from both sides described her as a fearless warrior, a brilliant strategist who seemed to be in multiple places at once, a symbol of defiance against overwhelming odds. The British commanders were stunned. This wasn't the helpless woman they had imagined. This was a storm they had unleashed. Even when her fortress finally fell, her story didn't end. In a daring escape under the cover of night, with her young son strapped to her back, she leaped her horse over the castle walls and broke through the enemy lines. It sounds like something out of a movie, but it really happened. She didn't flee to safety. She rode to join other rebel leaders, determined to continue the fight for India's freedom. Lakshmi Bai became a central figure in the Great Indian Rebellion of 1857. She fought in several more major battles, earning the respect and admiration of fellow fighters and the fear of her opponent. One British general who faced her in battle later wrote that she was the most dangerous of all the rebel leaders. She was a beacon of hope for a people fighting for their independence. Tragically, her fight came to an end on the battlefield. She fell in combat, dressed as a soldier, fighting until her last breath. But her death was not the end of her story. They had tried to silence her, but in the end, her actions spoke louder than any decree. Her story, preserved in folklore, songs, and poems, transformed her into an immortal symbol of courage and resistance. She proved that one person's determination can ignite a fire that an empire cannot extinguish. Rani Lakshmi Bai's legacy shows us that true power isn't about the title you hold, but the conviction you fight for. She was a queen, a mother, and a warrior who spoke through firepower when words were not enough. Her story is a powerful reminder that history is full of unsung heroes who refuse to be silenced. Thank you for watching, and if you found this story as inspiring as I did, make sure to like and subscribe for more tales of incredible figures from history.